we encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television. VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to African News right here on Voice of the People Television. Before we begin the news, I would urge you to kindly visit our website, www.vop.ng, for fresh and trending news stories. We begin the African news from the story in Niger Republic, where Niger's military ruler, Abu Rahmani Tiani, has accused French President Emmanuel Macron, Benin's Patrice Talon, and Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara of sponsoring a terrorist attack on Niamey International Airport. The attack, which occurred shortly before midnight, involved gunfire and explosion, damaging aircraft and injuring 4 soldiers. Tiani made the accusation without providing evidence, vowing retaliation and threatening to worsen relations with France and its regional allies. The incident has raised tensions between Niger and its neighbors, with the military government thanking Russian troops for defending the airbase. The airport, a strategic hub, houses a uranium stockpile and a key location for regional military operations. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, which has heightened concerns about security in the Sahel region. And meanwhile, Burkina Faso's military-led government has dissolved all political parties and scrapped the legal framework governing their operations, citing widespread abuses and dysfunction in the country's multi-party system. The decree approved by the Council of Ministers transfers all party assets to the state. Interior Minister Emilie Zerbo stated that the move aims to rebuild the state and address divisions fueled by the proliferation of over 100 registered parties, 15 of which were represented in parliament after the 2020 election. The decision marks a significant tightening of control by the military rulers who seized power in September 2022. Burkina Faso faces ongoing Islamist insurgencies linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State, which have killed thousands and displaced millions. Meanwhile, witnesses say paramilitary fighters from Sudan's Rapid Support Forces, that's the RSF, kidnapped children during the takeover of Al-Fashar in October, killing their parents in some cases. The children aged between 2 months and 17 years of age were allegedly taken to be used as slaves or herd animals. The RSF, which has been at war with Sudan's army since April 2023, has denied deliberately targeting civilians. However, human rights groups and witnesses described a pattern of abuse, including summary killings and sexual violence. The abduction may constitute war crimes and crimes against humanity, according to legal experts. The International Criminal Court is currently investigating alleged crimes committed by the RSF in Al-Fashar. Moving on, civil society groups in Liberia are strengthening their grip on legislative oversight after signing a new EU-backed grant in Monrovia. The deal brings together local organizations and international partners under a governance reform project. The Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and the United Nations Development Programme says the initiative will track how lawmakers perform as an institution. The focus will be on transparency, inclusion, and accountability rather than ranking individual legislators. European Union officials urge the coalition to maintain ethical standards and use clear evidence in monitoring government actions. They stress that credibility will be key in building public trust. Organizers say the project will help amplify citizens' voices and improve how lawmakers respond to national needs. They believe stronger oversight will translate into better development outcomes across the country. And in Kenya, Kenya's Ford Kenya party has suffered a political setback after former Kiminini MP Chris Wamanwa quit to join the ruling United Democratic Alliance, that's the UDA, citing dissatisfaction with post-election arrangements. Wamalwa, a former Ford Kenya Secretary General, announced plans to contest the UDA Secretary General position in upcoming internal elections, challenging incumbent Hassan Omar. He also plans to run for Trans-Ngora governor in 2027, having previously lost the seat in 2022. The defection is seen as part of broader shifts in Trans-Nzoia, where Ford Kenya may be positioning former Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakum-Micha to challenge Governor John Natembeya in that election. And from Kenya, we'll move straight to Uganda, where Uganda's Army Chief General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has accused U.S. Embassy officials of helping opposition leader Bobi Wine, who went into hiding days after the disputed January 15th presidential election. Wine, also known as Robert Klenglani, has been posting videos taunting the military while moving around the country. Kenny Galba said Wine is wanted dead or alive and warned that foreign powers attempting to assist him could strain relations. 43-year-old Wine rejected official election results, showing him with 24.7% of the vote, while President Yoweri Museveni won a seventh term with 71.6%. Hundreds of Wine supporters have been detained, and one deputy faces terrorism charges after a violent incident. The military has yet to specify any charges against Wine himself, but Police and Information Minister says he has committed no crime, but the army remains on alert to apprehend him, escalating fears of unrest in the country. Well, still in Uganda, incumbent Kawempe Division Mayor Emmanuel Serungoji of the United Unity Platform, that's the NUP, has won re-election polling with 23,715 votes, according to official results. Serungoji's closest rival, Farouk Shrimpo Bulimi of the National Resistance Movement, that's the NRM, scored 18,483 votes. Independent candidates Latif Sebangala Sengodo and Eric Njankasi Katende trailed with 5,866 and 1,896 votes respectively, while Forum for Democratic Change Emmanuel Musuki secured 337 votes. The outcome followed a tense standoff after sealed ballot boxes were opened amid competing claims of victory, reinforcing Serungoji's hold in Kawempe Division and highlighting continued support for NUP in the area. Meanwhile, Uganda's economy is expected to grow between 6.5% and 7% in the financial year starting July, a significant revision from the previous estimate of 10.4%, according to statistics. The Finance Ministry did not provide a reason for the downward revision. The country's economy was previously projected to grow 10.4% in the 2026-2027 financial year, driven by the start of oil production. Uganda plans to begin crude oil production from its western fields, operated by Total's Energy and CNOOC, which is expected to contribute to the country's economic growth. You're still watching the African News right here on Voice of the People Television. We'll go straight to the analysis segment of the news. And joining us now to make sense of these stories and more, in the studio with us is Dr. Peter Anosike. Dr. Peter is an economist, a novel writer, and also a public and political affairs commentator on this table. Doctor, a very good afternoon to you.
Thank you for having me.
Also joining us virtually all the way from Uganda is human rights lawyer and activist, Barrister Edward Okwaro Omatakinye. Barrister Edward is also a business associate as well as a legal practitioner in Uganda. Barrister, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining the conversation this afternoon.
Very good afternoon to you, David, and my friend Peter Naske in the studio. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for joining the conversation. Also joining us all the way from Liberia is Mr. Hansen Blayan. Mr. Hansen is a communication professional and a media consultant as well. A very good afternoon, Mr. Hansen Blayan, and thank you for joining the conversation. Well, I think he's still trying to join the conversation because I've been told he's yet to join. Also joining us virtually all the way from Kenya is Mr. Martins Iwerenjwe. Mr. Martins is a financial advisor and also the CEO Wells Gate Insurance Agency in Nairobi, Kenya. Mr. Martins, a very good afternoon to you and thank you for joining the conversation this afternoon.
Very good afternoon to you, Mr. David, and the blend in the studio.
Thank you so very much for joining the conversation. Well, let's start off from Uganda, where interesting stories are coming to our table. Let me start off with you, Barrister Edward. Again, the concerns about how Bobby Wine did escape the arrest by the military is one that has been making the round all across Africa. But then let's talk about the conversation coming from the military head. I'm talking about General Mahuzi, who has said that Bobby Wine is wanted dead or alive. What do you think is the reason why the military chief is making the statements, even though the police have not said anything as concerning what Bobby Wine has done aside being a candidate in the just concluded election?
Thank you, David, for that. According to me, number one, Ugandan chief has always issued statements in social media at night, during day, at any point. Statements which are actually threatening, and not only even the leader of opposition as we talk, the Bob Wine. What is worrying, this is the same chief of military who came out and said he had already executed duties by killing fellow Ugandans over 30, and he was on the move to add the number. So all those statements are in actually domain. So I feel this is a criminal. Is not fit to run a government like Uganda. He's just seated there because he has been placed there by the family, placed there by the father. But in actual sense, Uganda is a very democratic country. Uganda is a country which has fought all the way from 1962 when they received independence. So this is a where you can actually come and sing on top of the graves of the Ugandans. It is unfortunate that is issuing statements. It's the same person who actually said a Ugandan government, Ugandan military is more super than the US government, army, and he can crush the US government if there is an attempt to actually fight them. Those are statements of actually a dying dog. I said again from this studio, the so-called the chief of military is in this seat because of Museveni, who soon will be retiring from all this or disappearing from any kind of politics, and he will not see the platform of actually competing in Uganda. All these culprits will be accounted, will be brought to book to account all their atrocities they have caused to Uganda.
All right, then. Let me bring this conversation back to the studio before I go to Kenya. Doctor, interestingly, the son of the president, because I like to call him that, even though he's the head of military in Uganda, have accused the U.S. Embassy of carefully managing to take away Bobby Wine after election. The question in the minds of almost all Africans is the fact that you are questioning the support, should there be one, on the part of the U.S. Embassy. That means he's trying to talk directly to Donald Trump, because that is what it means. What do you make of the fact that this accusation is coming at a time that even his father has been declared winner of the election?
Well, Bobby Wine's crime could be daring to contest
against the father.
Against the father, understand? Who are you to contend with the monarch? Because to me, Uganda is now like North Korea, where son succeeds father and the grandson succeeds son. Understand? Because that's what we are seeing now. Because from all indications, he is positioning himself to succeed his father, and as such, will not have opposition. Or people who will want to contend with him.
Now, Doctor, on the part of the economy, as an economist that you are, looking at the fact that right now there is this level of decree on the part of the military and the police is not talking, should there be concerns for international donors, foreign direct investors to come into a system as hostile, as it were, in Uganda presently? Because again, there is the indication of the economy improving by some percentage this year.
Economy doesn't improve on paper. Economy improves on ground. Understand me? So, with the situation in the country, I don't see this. I see this figure as bogus. Understand?
Okay.
I see this figure as bogus. For you that to get that, even America is not even getting half of that. So how can you get that in a country that is not politically stable? Understand? Where there's no peace, there can never be development. So this is just on paper. They cannot really get that because there's no stability in the country. Understand?
Okay.
And again, there's no way America will watch Ugandan government arrest and imprison an innocent person. Understand me? So they have every right to protect him, defend him, and if he's in the American embassy today, he's free. Now, understand me?
Right.
Because there's no way Ugandan government or Ugandan military can go to U.S. embassy or any embassy to go and arrest somebody.
Well, some would differ on your position as concerning how they've been allowing people to have a free ground. You would recall that opposition figure Kizza Besigye is still on house arrest, even though we hear that his health is also not doing well. Looking at this, you did say now that the economy would not, again, get that 6 point.
It will never.
All right, then. Let's take this conversation to Kenya, where Martins Joy is joining this conversation. Mr. Martins, concerns are being raised about the fact that the military is talking, and there are projections of the fact that the economy of Uganda might just grow between 6.5 and 7% in the financial year starting in July. Elections are over. I would still ask the same question to barrister in Uganda because he's also a business associate as well, so he also knows a bit of business. But I'm staying with you as a financial expert, looking at the realities on ground, looking at the hostilities post-election that is still on ground. Opposition figures are saying, look, some of our members are still in the custody of the military. Do you think this projected figure might see the light of the day? 6.5% and between 7% in the financial year starting July.
Thank you, Mr. David. You know, to start with, for any country economy to grow, there are factors to consider. One is political factor. Right now, the climate in Uganda in terms of politics is not clean. So democracy is not given the power to exercise its space in the economic arena. As I said earlier, investors are attracted by a country that has the democratic rights safeguarded. Right now, you see when we speak about democracy, we speak about the people, and in this case, Uganda people are not aligning into the how the governance is run, because now it's like the Uganda is like it has been taken host by the military constitution, which should not, because it is a democratic country, it is to have its implementation of the undemocratic policies. And this attracting the country growth is something that we will not see the right of the day. Secondly, is what we call violence. Right now, the climate in Uganda, in terms of what we call politics, again, is in a dire constraint, because investors don't know what can happen tomorrow, what can happen anytime sooner. So you find that
Oh dear.
is what we call investors. Investors right now are weighing about. There are many investors that they invested their ideology on Bob Wine. And since Bob Wine is not where to see, these people are pulling back. There is a lot of unemployment youths in Uganda. So you find they are in constraint in democracy, they are in constraint in other avenues to stabilize their economy.
All right, then. Let me take this same conversation to Uganda, where Barrister is still with us. Barrister Edward, investor confidence is what I want to talk about right now. There are concerns about the fact that, yes, post-election, election is over, the man at the helm of affairs is in power again, for the 7th time running, but the accusation of the United States Embassy as supporting Bobby Wine in escaping military arrest, as it were, would that pose a little constraint on the relationship between the U.S. and, of course, your country? Plus, how much of investor confidence is being experienced in the country presently? You are in Uganda. Give us a full understanding of what it looks like.
The situation in hand does not actually relate to the growth of the economy, which they are trying to fabricate in a paper. Just as my senior said in the studio, that economy cannot grow within the paper. Economy grows on the ground. The actual thing Uganda should do to grow the economy, number one, actually Uganda should politically grow up, economy democratically grow up. In the event Uganda does not realize democracy, then that economy will never be realized in Uganda. We are talking about poor governance within the leadership of Museveni. The reason why you get that, even though the opposition has been shielded, has been actually protected by other partners, it depends on what you are calling up as a president himself and your leadership. Museveni has demonstrated that Uganda is a superpower country in Africa, in the world, and it can handle things the way they want. So I don't think whether there are people who can, including even you, you can actually accept to relate yourself with a person who has decided to say, I want to kill my citizens, and now I will grow my economy. So I don't know how do you grow your economy when you don't have people. Growth of economy is plus people you lead. And where the situation in the country is totally ungovernable, the corruption is silting everywhere, weak institutions are being captured, there are a lot of conflicts and wars within your political arena. So that alone can never give you a 6 to 7 economy. So I would actually encourage the US, if there is a hand, the US, to protect the opposition. That gives us hope that we have friends who can protect us. Because what we expected from the government after the election was to accept and say the election is over. Can we now come back to the table, call the opposition, call the rest of the partners on the table, and if there is somewhere government could actually even accept and admit some of the mistakes they have done, so that the other parties can also accept and sit on the table and talk. Let's grow the economy together. The economy is grown by both partners, investors, the government. You bring all people, all partners on the table so that the economy can grow. But as we talk, the country is shuttered down politically. The country is still in the moods of elections. We have not started anything at home. We are still eating oil food, whereby we don't know whether the rains will come for us to go to the gardens. So there is no economy which will grow. That one, put it down.
All right, then. Well, I'm still going to stay with you because, yes, you've just given us a major insight on what it looks like in Uganda. But I want us to take a journey to Niger Republic, where there was, so to say, an attack, a terrorist attack, according to, I'm talking about the Niger's military ruler, Abdurrahmani Tiani, who was accused French President Emmanuel Macron, Benin Republic's President Patrice Talon, and Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara of sponsoring the terrorist attack on Niamey's International Airport. Now, you would recall that this particular incident happened on Monday, where, of course, before midnight, where it involved gunfire and explosion, damaging aircraft and injuring 4 soldiers. Now, some have said that this particular attack, according to the military ruler now, is clearly fine-tuned as targeting their reserve. I'm talking about the National Reserve. What's your position with this accusation from the president of Niger Republic, the military ruler?
You know, these military rulers have come with one intention. Where you get all countries which actually support democracy, which support issues concerning a rule of law, they tend to go against these countries. And it is what is happening. I've started seeing what is happening in Burkina Faso, where you kill all the political parties. On the other hand, it is also not bad, but now we need to be a bit careful as Africans. We should not just raise up hands and pinpoint where you don't have facts. So the facts need to come to the table. If there is an admission from the people being mentioned, then it would be unfortunate on my side. That will be an unfortunate situation.
Well, again, a lot of persons have said that Tiani's accusation lacked proof. And I'm bringing this conversation back to the studio because, again, like I said earlier, Tiani's accusation lacks proof. Doctor, as it stands, a regional backlash is involving Benin Republic, is involving Cote d'Ivoire. How much of a regional bilateral relationship can these countries have again going forward with this level of accusation being, of course, in cahoots with the French president?
Well, saying that it lacks proof, understand, I may not agree with you.
You think because he's the commander-in-chief, he has more intel?
The commander-in-chief receives daily security briefings, understand? And security is not what you discuss openly. Understand me?
Right.
It is not what you discuss openly. But if you check now, Benin and Ivory Coast, that as we speak, are in partnership with France. Understand? These countries have civilians as their head of government. Understand?
Okay.
And if you remember what happened between Niger and France, because France was chased out, the uranium that they have been buying for as cheap as anything was also stopped.
Right.
So Macron is not happy with Niger, and understand me? And he didn't want what happened in Niger to happen in Benin. And that was why he has to work with Nigerian president to stop the coup in Benin. So that's why he has to work with the Nigerian president to stop the coup in Benin. Now, Benin, the president of Benin will have to be reciprocating to whatever Macron said. So for me, I don't want to dismiss it entirely, but France should focus on their own economy. France's economy is not doing bad as we speak.
Right.
Understand? And Emmanuel Macron will be going very soon. So for me, he should focus on his economy and leave Africa alone.
So you think because of the dependency of the uranium by France is the reason why this level of attack is coming?
They are not happy. Macron is not happy. He will want a change of government in Niger that could bring them back. Understand me? Macron will want a change of government in Niger that will bring French government back to Niger, because right now France's economy is not doing good at all. And any election in France, Macron will be on his way out.
Now, Doctor, before I move to Kenya, some have said this Niger junta is fabricating foreign complexity in all of this to justify its reliance on its sweet Russian support. I use that word loosely.
Then what of sweet French support? What of if we have a sweet Russia support, we also have a sweet French support?
So, in other words, you think
so let them go, let Africa solve their own problem.
Now,
that's my concern.
Okay, I like your last line, really, because if Africa should solve our problem, definitely we won't be getting this conversation, because I wanted to ask you, what do you make of the fact that with this interference...
We don't meddle in their own affairs.
With this interference, really, what I wanted to find out from you is where then lies the sovereignty of the Sahel? Because this is, major interference, both from France and from Russia. But I like the fact that you did say, let them go, let Africa solve our problem. Let me go to Kenya. Mr. Martins, this conversation concerns squarely about the natural resource. Uranium, particularly, is what we're talking about. But then the military leader of Niger, clearly saying that France clearly is the ones in cahoots with Cote d'Ivoire and the country just left my head, Benin Republic. Thank you so very much, Doctor. This relationship caused that attack on Monday on that airport. What do you make of this story, Mr. Martins?
Yes, thank you, Mr. David. You see, the issue, as you have said, it is the uranium, and uranium is one of the minerals that are used for what we call nuclear energy.
Yes.
And I think what has happened in this Western country in Africa, foreigner that has been dominating those regions, and when they exchanged ends with Russia. Like now, if you see Niger has quoted Russia to be in their country, they have taken all of matters to do with the nuclear energy. So you find that France is feeling as if they have been humiliated, or their power to dominate in Africa has been ruined. That's why now you see there is even what we call political interest. There are brokers in this avenue within the country who were harassed with the France. So it means that when these brokers feel that their deal has not seen the right, that's when now they are coming with this analogy of terrorism. So what it should be is that Niger should form their internal security meetings so that they can implement policies to counter their security stability. Because now, if there is a security threat in the country, it will affect their economic growth. And the same case when there will be loopholes for this terrorism to counter the security of this country. So the move is very good. That's Africa should resist this colonial from since time of independence that are gambling on our minerals, and they are making our economy not to steer so that we can experience the benefit that comes with the growth and of independence as well.
All right, then let me take this conversation to Uganda while I'm going to round up with this whole conversation all round up, all three of you. Interestingly, Burkina Faso's military-led government has dissolved all political parties and, of course, scrapping the legal framework governing their operations. Of course, the leader cited widespread abuses and dysfunction in the country's multi-party system. Now, Barrister, over 100 registered parties, 15 were represented in the last parliament election that was held in 2020. This decision by the military leader, I'm talking about Ibrahim Traore, is this a positive move? Because some have said this is another move like that of Guinea, where the military leader also found his way as a democratically elected president. Is this a move of sorts happening in Burkina Faso? Or is this trying to really, like the presidency did say, try to making sure that the political landscape becomes more sane than what it was before now? What's your position, Barrister?
Yeah, I think the move on my side should be negative to the country, on the other hand, because a country without democratic space to play politics tends to actually bend to a wrong direction. A country where you try to limit policies from other parties also brings some kind of issues. Actually,
but what if those parties are not functional?
I would relate this to at the time our military ruler Museveni came in power. I think he tried that, but at least for him, he opened a platform for other political parties to play a role, though there was some limitation. So I believe it will not be a positive thing. It will not be right for the president, a military president ruler, to actually kill all these political parties. Probably would have brought some kind of alternative on how to eliminate some of these parties which are not performing in the country, so that now their rearrangement would be formed. I believe that will be the work of the policies, which should actually work faster before taking action the way you are taking it right now.
All right, then let me go to Kenya before I come to the studio and, of course, round up. In 30 seconds, Mr. Martins, your position with the new move by the military leader, Ibrahim Traore, in Burkina Faso.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. David. I think this issue whereby military coup has taken over, but basically what we see from Burkina Faso, the African leaders should come up with a way of implementing their policies better. Because when democracy is in denial or in betrayal, we're gonna see the military taking over and suppress any democratic rights that have been put in place. One of the democratic rights is having political multipartyism in a democratic country. But when the now military takes over, the democracy of the country will be in a dire constraint. Secondly, is that we have seen the president of Burkina Faso currently doing very well, but now silencing the multipartyism, which bear fruit to democracy. We don't know the intention behind it. So Burkina Faso might be seeing dark times from now going forward. So this should be a mirror to every continental leaders.
All right, then, Doctor, finally, some have said the dissolution of political party, opposition figures have said, look, this is not a genuine attempt to rebuild the state. This is just somebody trying to entrench military dictatorship under, of course, the military leader, Ibrahim Traore.
Well,
opposition as well.
I've not read the constitution of Burkina Faso, but I know that most constitutions in the world uphold freedom of association.
Right.
Understand?
Yes.
And when you begin to ban all these associations, you are infringing on our fundamental human rights. So to me, it's not a good one, understand? There should be space for people to relate to associate and to share their views.
Even though
it is through these political associations.
Even though the parties are not functional, in the last election, 100 parties registered, just 15 were able to file a candidate.
That's just like in Nigeria, government funds some of these parties.
Yes.
So when you have 100 parties, it will be chaotic. For me, it should be regulated and not abolished.
Okay, I think that is another beautiful position to end this conversation. Thank you so very much, Dr. Peter Anosike, for being here, a writer and also an economist and also a public and political affairs commentator as well. Thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Also, thank you so very much, Barrister Edward Okwara Matakinye, human rights lawyer and also human rights activist and legal practitioner in Uganda. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you so very much, Mr. Martins Njue, also for joining the conversation. Mr. Martins is a public and political affairs analyst, a financial expert, and also the CEO, Worldgate Insurance Agency in Nairobi. Thank you so very much, Mr. Martins, for being here as well.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, more stories on the African News will be up next. Please do stay. Glad to have you back at the Studio African News right here on Voice of the People Television. Now to more stories. Christopher Leeuward, the South African Reserve Bank's chief economist and a monetary policy committee member, is taking early retirement effective March the 1st, 2026. Leeuward, who joined the central bank in 2011, will start a 6-month cooling-off period, and the process of appointing his successor is underway. Leeuward's departure serves the SARB's MPC and 6 members one short of his full complement. He had been with the central bank for 13 years, previously serving 13 years at the National Treasury. And from that story, we'll move straight to talking business and still in South Africa. The South African rand weakened against the US dollar in early trade on Friday, trading at 15.90 against the dollar, about 1% weaker than Thursday's close. The dollar's strength was driven by a 0.4% gain against a basket of currencies and rumors of a more hawkish Federal Reserve chair. The rand, a risk-sensitive currency, is taking cues from global drivers like US policy and local factors. Data from the South African Reserve Bank showed M3 money supply growth at 8.16% last month, drawn down from 8.26% in November. Later in the day, South Africa's Reserve Service Agency and National Treasury are expected to publish trade and budget balance data respectively. South Africa's benchmark 2035 government bond was weaker in early deals, with the yield up 14.5 basis points to 8.11%. Still talking business, and in Liberia, Liberia's Fishery Authority is seeking feedback on a new national management plan for small-scale fishing, with stakeholders urged to contribute to the draft before it's finalized. The National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority, that's NAFA, held a pre-validation workshop in Monrovia, the capital, where participants discussed the plan's details. Director General Designate J. Cyrus Saigbe said the document would guide the sector's operations once approved. A 2-week window has been opened for written submission before final approval. The plan aims to tackle illegal fishing and promote sustainability in Liberia's coastal economy with support from international partners like the European Union. And to wrap up the African news, we'll go straight talking sports. Liberia-born teenager Josiah King, 70 years of age, has signed a professional contract with Arsenal Football Club. The London-based club has announced. King, a defender, has risen through Arsenal's youth academy and is the latest talent to emerge from the club's development program. The signing is seen as a boost for Liberia's football prospects, following in the steps of former stars like George Weah and Christopher Rare. And with that sports story, we've come to the end of African news right here on Voice of the People Television. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Thank you so very much for being a part of this broadcast. I am David Edwin. Do have a good afternoon.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs the voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
I'm Sarah Nystrom from Sweden, aka Chief Omobawale, Communication Queen. Keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, I'm Samantha Jacobs, representing the States. Miami's in the house, and I want to make a shout out to VOP TV. I'm a humanitarian, and I'm also a rep in the film industry and the art industry. I help dreams come true, and I help you keep on that path. Shout out to VOP TV because you're helping people stay on their path too. Cheers.
All right, my name is John Odibo. Keep watching Voice of the People because it's a fantastic station to be with all the time. Thank you very much.
My name is Pastor Elvis Ciro, the convener of the Voice Achievers Award, and keep watching VOP. Yes, that is the channel for all the people. No color, no race. Thank you so much.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abasunkan from the Netherlands. I am a designer and I'm here in Eco Hotel and Suits. Keep watching VOP, the voice of the people. Don't touch that dial.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
and scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
When I first heard VOP, I thought they were talking about me because I'm a voiceover personality. But no, this is Voice of the People TV, and you are riveted forever because this is the place to be.
Yo guys, your boy Chella. Shout out to VOP TV. I love you guys.
Salut, salut tout le monde. Suspect 95. Là, on est sur VOP TV. On passe un bon temps. J'espère que vous kiffez. On est au Afrima. On est ensemble. VOP TV.
Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. VOP, you don't know somewhere from Ghana representing live and living color. Yeah, Beam Nation President. Outside with it. Bless up.
Hello, this is Milo from Ivory Coast. Keep watch Voice of the People TV. Regardez la voix du peuple, la télévision de la voix du peuple. Que Dieu vous bénisse. À très bientôt. Love you so much.
Hi guys, what's up? This is Gaze Baba. I am watching VOP TV. Usually you be told to not touch the dial, but I tell you to touch the dial and increase the volume. You're like, keep it locked. It's Afro Gospel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shego Aronzo. You're watching VOP. Don't change the dial.
My Joe, fine girl. My Joe, fine babe. Only are you, but on the Fuji was. Yes, don't touch the dial. This is me, Dr. Adiwala Iba. Keep watching VOP TV.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
The Nigeria Electricity Consumers Advocacy Network, NECAN, has criticized the federal government's service-based electricity tariff policy, saying the changes have failed to reduce subsidy payments and have instead worsened inefficiencies in the power sector. Speaking on the policy, NECAN National Secretary Uke Tubunga said the introduction of the Band A tariff regime, which the government had described as a way to reduce subsidies, has had the opposite effect. He accused the distribution companies or DISCOs of continuing to collect tariffs despite inconsistent power supply and noted that the original purpose of the service-based tariff system has collapsed, pointing to fundamental flaws in Nigeria's electricity demand structure. Meanwhile, Voice of the People TV spoke to citizens who shared their thoughts on the ongoing electricity crisis and the challenges they face with power supply.
There is nowhere in the world that government don't subsidize energy. It's only here that we are hearing that we have to now begin to look at faces, you being Band A, you being B, and you being C. Even at the end of the day, Nigerians cannot still get the electricity to use. And you know what that means? So I am not seeing any change. The way NEPA was unbundled, we were like, oh, we're going to see difference. We saw Genco, we saw Disco, we saw Transmission Company of Nigeria and all others. Unfortunately, the Genco are doing well. They are generating. But when they transmit to national grid, the system cannot carry it. Then we'll now begin to see failure in transformer and even the wires. At the end of the day, you will not get light. In that same country where it is not, the electricity is not available, somebody is saying, is categorizing the band, is making some people to be A, to pay higher, some people to be in B and all that. What was the criteria that was used in this band, distribution of this band? Have you asked? Were you asked which of them you want to belong to, so that I'll give you 24-hour electricity? Would you like to be in band A? Do you know how many people are living in some area where they have band A that they cannot pay? These are people who are struggling to even meet their daily on daily basis. Then you are not telling them being in band A when they cannot pay. The federal government need to look into what we are talking about. We need to look into how were these things done. These are the things I was expecting the National Assembly to do. So since it's not working, let's look for a way to see how to get the laws that actually brought us to this level and see how we can amend it and make it functional.
If you have electricity 247, I think to do a lot of good for the country too. Because people will like to come in and do their business. Companies will do well. I think it also reduces the rates whereby what is it called? Inflation will also come down because we'll have to sell things at a higher cost due to fuel scarcity and the rest. So there are a lot of benefits that comes with having 247 electricity in the country.
As citizens continue to speak out, they are urging the government to take decisive action to resolve the electricity crisis and ensure a reliable power supply for all Nigerians. Matthew Okunswada, reporting for Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to another amazing episode of Health